everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Richard.
I'm Liz, and this is Lap of the World.
So if you follow us on Instagram, you may have seen last weekend we actually crossed a literal milestone that I felt kind of deserved its own video. So somewhere in the middle of Missouri on the way to Kansas, for an event you'll see a video on very soon, we rolled over 300,000 miles on our 1992 NSX here.
Coincidentally, on the 13th year of ownership. So if you don't follow us on Instagram already, now's your chance. Go follow us at Lap of the World and check it out.
Yep. And so what we wanted to do today, though, is cover a little bit of how we got there, talk about where we're going, and then hit some kind of frequently asked questions, mainly pertaining to the mileage on the car.
So how did we get here?
Well, we got here by driving it, Liz.
Yep, that is the quick answer. We got here by driving it and enjoying to drive it, really.
Definitely.
So where are we going? Well, we're going to keep driving. We're going to keep taking it to more tracks. I mean, it's a great car, but it's never going to be a museum piece.
The only way it could be a museum piece is if it ended up being the highest mileage NSX ever, which incidentally segues, I think, nicely into our frequently asked questions, where you can kick us off with maybe an obvious one.
Yeah, Richard, is this the highest mileage NSX ever?
No, not even close. There are two cars that I'm aware of that have over 400,000 miles on them, and at least 10 others, including those two, that have more than 300,000 miles. So we've got a little bit of work to do. I think the highest mileage car I'm aware of has about 450,000 at the moment. The last odometer shot that I saw on that car was 440 something, and I know it still gets driven fairly regularly.
So, I mean, I think we're up for the challenge, though.
Oh, yeah.
So, next question we have is, have you put the most mileage on this car? Have we done that? The quick answer is no, but...
Not yet. We are responsible for the latest 100,000 miles, and we are, with that said, we are responsible for 100% of this car's track miles, which I think we figured out is somewhere between like 7 to 10,000 at a guess. I don't have precise data on that, but just kind of extrapolating from, number of laps and number of days and things like that.
So, since we haven't put the most miles on it, really, how many miles do we put on it a year?
So, we have averaged, if you do our ownership average in our 13 years of ownership, and that anniversary is actually coming up very soon, we have averaged around 12,500 a year, which is kind of normal commuter car miles, but I think it bears noting that there were probably the first two years of ownership were kind of restoring the car. That was the rescue phase, and the fact that it also gets maintained at a constant level of track readiness means that it's probably more frequently down for maintenance than would be a car that was just driven on the road.
So that does segue into our next question, which is, does it require a ton of maintenance to have a high mileage NSX?
Not if you keep on top of it. Obviously, there are some things that will eventually wear out, like your rubber components, consumables. Obviously, are going to go through a fair bit of those. I've done videos in the past detailing. I'll link to one of those somewhere up here, detailing kind of what I've spent on the car and what all has been done to the car. In addition to that, actually predated though our the car's third 90,000 mile service that we did this spring.
I always enjoy hearing you say that. The third 90,000 miles. So it's interesting because I've heard this a couple times as well. Are you worried that you're just trashing the car by putting this many miles on it?
No, I mean, you could, again, thinking from it as the perspective of like a beater commuter car, yeah, I could see where someone would get that idea.
Well, but also the short answer there is no, it's an Acura.
Yeah, it's an Acura. It just runs. But cosmetically, yeah, there's going to be some wear, and that's just going to happen. We're going to end up with some, we've got some rock pitting on the front bumper. There's a few paint chips here and there. And so the car has got some patina on it cosmetically. However, as I mentioned, mechanically, for it to stay track ready, it's got to be pretty thoroughly gone through. So mechanically, at this point in time, the car is pretty fresh. The last time I had a compression test done on the car, it was passed with flying colors. So, no, we're not concerned about that.
No. And we don't feel like we're trashing it.
No.
Because we are maintaining it.
If anything, it's better now than when I bought it. So.
Yeah. The other thing, a question we get a lot about the car and putting this many miles on it is it even comfortable to drive to put this many miles on it? And the short answer is absolutely 100%.
Otherwise, there's no way we could do what we've done road trip wise in this car if it weren't, comfortable to drive around. These are probably some of the best seats in a motor vehicle that I've ever experienced.
Absolutely, I completely agree. It is comfortable. On occasion it can get a little jammed, but it's more when we're doing long trips that we have like a cooler at the passenger's feet or something like that. But otherwise,
yeah, you start to feel it a little bit storage space wise, but that's about the extent of it.
All right, so what is our longest single road trip?
Speaking of road trips.
Yes. Well, speaking of road trips.
After a little battery swap there, sorry.
Yeah.
Speaking of road trips, though.
What is our trip with the most miles ever so far?
Yeah, it was actually this year on our trip to NS Expo and other places, which totaled out to around a little over 8,000 miles in a single outing, I guess I would call it.
It was a single trip. It was one road trip.
Yes.
Right? And that's
just differentiating from single day.
Yeah, that does transition well into what is our longest single day. And I think that goes back to 2015?
Yeah.
2015, when we drove from northern Colorado to southern California, and that was about a 17-hour day?
Yeah, that was rough.
Fun.
It's fun in a rough way, rough in a fun way, I guess. It was, I think it was definitely an adventure, but I think we both arrived, all three of us, the car and us, arrived kind of running on fumes at that point.
But it was a fun trip.
It was.
That was probably one of our first big road trips together.
Yeah.
I mean, we drove from here to Alabama together, but otherwise, that was our first big road trip together.
Yeah, no.
And our first expo.
Yeah, that was our first expo together.
And so really, I think since then we've gotten smarter about road trips.
Smarter, yeah. No, we learned our lesson a little bit, but I think that's been fun. What else do we have there?
That's it. Those are our questions.
Common FAQs. If you think of any more, definitely leave them in the comments. We read all of the comments at this point in time, so we will answer what we can. And I can go away and have some data. I think we've had some little pop-ups as we've gone along with other little factoids that we didn't have scribbled down to talk about. But so I hope you've enjoyed hearing a little bit about how we got to this milestone. Again, 300,000 miles. We're currently at 301,113 miles. On
the 13th year of ownership.
On the 13th year of ownership. It's not the 13th day of the month. We almost got it there anyway. Lucky number. Long story, different video. But I hope you've enjoyed it. But until next time, I'm Richard.
I'm Liz, and we'll see you at the track. Or we'll see you at the track.
We'll see you in the next video, if not at the track.